Welcome back. And let's go on to the other discussions taking place here at the Sandton Convention Center. After 8 days of intense discussions, the African Union is ready to bring the summit to an end. However, some discussions are still heated, with the ICC ruling on Omar al-Bashir still a topic. The Commissioner for Economic and Social Committee of the African Union, Mr. Joseph Chilingi, says integration among African countries has provided a more united approach against the international community on this issue. This position is backed by the Executive Director, Africa Research Agency.
We always want to perfect a system. We are negotiating. Should we fail, the only option would be the withdrawal from the ICC of all African state parties. And I think that is unanimous already when you look at the various resolutions that have been made.
The African Union has presented a strong stance against the ICC ever since Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir and Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta were summoned to answer to war crimes and crimes against humanity. The AU believes African leaders have been targeted in the ICC, something the US government, which has not ratified the Rome Statute, has been willing to clear up.
We don't subscribe to that view. The vast majority of individuals who have been turned over to the ICC who are from Africa have been turned over by their own countries or have been turned over by other countries where they have been caught. So this is not a battle about holding Africans to a different standard. We think that Africans, as broadly as possible, that they deserve justice.
Closing session.
Back to the summit's closing, most African leaders have already left for home, and those here have been participating in those last-minute discussions. No one leaves, of course, until the fat lady sings. In this case, that will be the Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe's closing remarks.
In pursuit of the objectives of our theme for this year, Year of Women Empowerment and Development towards Agenda 2063, and cognizant of the importance and centrality of women in the socio-economic development of Africa, we have reaffirmed the need to fast-track gender parity and women empowerment in all socio-economic and political endeavors. We resolved and committed ourselves to abolish all ills based on cultural and religious practices, including early child marriages and gender-based violence.
At the briefing after, the AU Commission Chair is once again faced with the question of Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir's presence at the summit and what the AU makes of arresting him.
An AU summit is not a bilateral meeting. It's a multilateral organization, and when a country hosts it according to the rules of the AU, not according to its own rules. Before a country hosts, it signs a host country agreement with the AU, which spells out what is expected of the host. And when it has been agreed mutually what the host will do, we sign, they sign.
President Robert Mugabe is known for having an unpopular position with the West, and there is not one opportunity he lets pass by without taking a jab at them. The AU summit closing was one of those opportunities. But as he leaves the podium, having finished the briefing and having had a really long day, President Robert Mugabe still takes time to crack a few jokes with us journalists, whom he says make headlines of the littlest and most ordinary of things, one of them being the famous falling down a set of steps after speaking to supporters earlier in the year in Harare, the Zimbabwean capital. The African Union Summit is finally over. Leaders go back to implement the policies and strategies that were developed right here at the Sandton Convention Center. they'll be checking on the progress of those implementations in another 10 years. That's it on the program this week. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani.